Quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird.
We want. Instead, we're still getting bullshit on viewership.
Sue Bird just shocked the entire basketball world, not with a highlight, but with words. Words that fans are calling betrayal. Why would one of the WNBA's most respected legends suddenly take aim at Caitlin Clark, the very player many believe is saving the league? Tonight, we dive into the drama that has ESPN analysts, fans, and even WNBA icons completely divided. And trust me, the truth is not what you think. It started with just a few words. Simple words, but the impact? Explosive. Sue Bird, a four-time champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and a voice many considered untouchable in women's basketball, sat down, opened her mouth, and changed the conversation overnight. She wasn't talking about defense or coaching or strategy. She was talking about Caitlin Clark, and not in the way fans expected. Bird pointed straight at Clark when asked about declining playoff numbers, implying, intentionally or not, that the league's struggles weren't about history or marketing or even performance. No, they were about one rookie not being there. And just like that, the internet lit up. ESPN clips went viral. Twitter threads turned into battlegrounds. Fans who had worshipped Bird's leadership suddenly labeled her a hater. And the question lingered, why would Sue Bird, someone who praised Clark only months ago, suddenly flip the script? This is where things get uncomfortable, because to some, it wasn't just criticism. It felt personal, almost like a warning shot, almost like the legends of the game were drawing a line in the sand. This league is ours. Don't let the rookie take the crown too fast. And the more people dissected Bird's comments, the more the theories piled up. Was it jealousy? Was it fear? Or was it something even bigger? The WNBA's hidden identity crisis finally cracking open in public? Fans didn't hold back. One viral post read, Sue Bird sounds jealous. She had her time. Let Clark shine. Another fired back. This league is bigger than Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like she's the savior. Thousands of comments later, the truth was clear. Bird hadn't just criticized Clark. She'd torn open the biggest debate women's basketball has ever faced. And that debate is only getting louder. The fallout didn't stop with Sue Bird. The moment her comments hit the air, the biggest voices in sports media pounced. Stephen A. Smith, never one to bite his tongue, unleashed a fiery defense of Caitlin Clark. His voice boomed across ESPN, reminding everyone of a truth too obvious to ignore. Clark isn't just another rookie. She's the reason millions of people are watching women's basketball at all. Why is it a bad thing? Stephen A. demanded. The NBA leaned on Jordan. It leaned on Kobe. It leaned on LeBron. Superstars built leagues. Why is the WNBA acting brand new? Clips of his rant ripped through TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram like wildfire. Fans clipped his words, shouting, he's saying what we're all thinking. The message was clear. Caitlin Clark isn't a liability. She's the engine keeping this train moving. Then came Shannon Sharp. If Stephen A. poured gasoline on the fire, Sharp threw in the match. He doubled down, blunt and unapologetic. Viewership with Caitlin Clark is astronomical. Without her, you see what's happening. His words weren't just sharp. They cut straight to the core of the league's most uncomfortable truth. With Clark, playoff buzz was electric. Without her, playoff tickets were going for less than a burger and fries. The effect, fans were split, but the conversation was unavoidable. On one side, legends like Bird demanding respect for the foundation they built. On the other, analysts and fans shouting that the WNBA has never seen a star like Caitlin Clark, and pretending otherwise is pure denial. And right in the middle of it all, Clark herself silent, focused, letting her game speak louder than the chaos swirling around her. But silence in this storm only made her look stronger. And that strength is exactly what's turning this drama into something much bigger than basketball. At first, the headlines looked incredible. Playoff arenas packed, photos of smiling fans, social media buzzing with so-called record crowds. It looked like women's basketball had finally turned the corner. But then the cracks started to show, and fans weren't afraid to expose them. Tickets that were supposedly in high demand were suddenly going for as low as $10. $10, less than the price of a fast food meal. Some fans brag online, I paid more for parking than my playoff seat. Another mocked, I got 4 tickets for the price of 1 NBA beer. What was painted as triumph started to look like smoke and mirrors. Were arenas really full because of explosive demand, or because tickets had been slashed to absurdly low prices? That question hit like a gut punch, because everyone knew the unspoken truth. Without Caitlin Clark on the floor, the magic was gone. The hype, the casual viewers, the mainstream headlines, they all followed her. And the moment she was eliminated, attendance dipped, prices tanked, and the illusion of unstoppable growth shattered. This is where Sue Bird's comments cut the deepest. By pointing at Clark, she wasn't just criticizing a player, she was pulling the curtain back on the league's fragile reality. But instead of sparking unity, her words fueled division. Fans felt betrayed, analysts smelled blood, and the WNBA's biggest fear became impossible to ignore. That one rookie, barely months into her career, might already hold more power than the league itself. And that's a dangerous truth to admit out loud, because if $10 tickets are the only thing thing keeping playoff arenas full. What happens when Clark isn't there to cover the cracks? And even scarier, what happens if the league keeps pretending she doesn't matter? This is where the drama got personal, because for many fans, Sue Bird's comments weren't just about ratings or attendance. They felt like an attack on Caitlin Clark herself. A rookie who had done nothing but show up, play hard, and bring millions of new eyes to the WNBA was suddenly being painted as the problem. To fans, that wasn't just unfair, it was betrayal. How could a legend who once praised Clark's impact now turn around and use her as a scapegoat? And Bird wasn't alone. Sheryl Swoopes, another icon of the game, added fuel to the fire. One moment she was praising Clark's skill, the next she was questioning her influence. That back and forth left fans frustrated, convinced the old guard was struggling to accept the new era. Social media lit up with brutal takes. Why do the legends always hate when a new star shines? One fan wrote. Another comment cut even deeper. LeBron never got this from Jordan, but Caitlyn's getting it from everyone. Thousands of likes later, the message was undeniable. Fans saw the legends not as protectors of the game, but as gatekeepers trying to keep Clark in her place. And through it all, Clark stayed silent. No Twitter jabs, no Instagram shade, no interviews throwing shots back at her critics. Just basketball, just performance, just poise. That silence turned into power. Fans rallied around her, praising her maturity, while blasting the legends for tearing her down. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. They hate her because she's popular and good. That's it. The contrast couldn't be sharper. On one side, legends fighting to hold on to the narrative. On the other, a rookie who didn't need to say a word to win the battle. And in that silence, Clark wasn't just becoming a star, she was becoming a symbol of change, a symbol of the future. And that's exactly what has the old guard nervous. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one inside the WNBA wants to say out loud. The league has an identity crisis. On paper, it wants to prove it's strong enough to stand on teamwork, history, and collective talent. But the numbers, the headlines, the fans, they all point to one undeniable reality. Caitlin Clark is the engine driving this train. With her, ratings skyrocket. Without her, tickets sell for pocket change. With her, casual fans tune in for the first time in their lives. Without her, even diehards start questioning the hype. That isn't a theory, it's fact. And it leaves the league trapped in a dangerous paradox. If they lean too hard on Clark, they risk looking dependent on one player. But if they downplay her impact, they risk alienating the millions of new fans she's brought in. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. And every single week, the tension grows heavier. Because history has shown this before. The NBA didn't explode because of balance and teamwork. It exploded because of icons. Jordan wasn't just a player, he was a movement. Kobe, LeBron, Curry, they were all the faces that carried the league into new eras. And now, the WNBA finally has its own unicorn. A once-in-a-generation star who pulls in attention like a magnet. But instead of embracing her, too many voices inside the league seem terrified of what she represents. Jealousy, fear, insecurity, maybe all three. And the result? Division, drama, and a fan base that's tired of the old guard trying to clip the wings of the new face of the game. The irony, in trying to prove the WNBA is bigger than Caitlin Clark, the legends are only making her bigger. Every shot at her, every subtle dig, every headline, it doesn't weaken her, it strengthens her. And if the league doesn't figure out how to handle that power, it might not just reshape women's basketball, it could redefine it forever. If you really want to see how deep this controversy runs, you don't need to look at ticket sales or TV ratings. All you need to do is open your phone. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the debate has consumed them all. Clips of Stephen A. Smith's rant hit millions of views. Shannon Sharp's blunt words went viral overnight. And fans, they've turned comment sections into full-blown battlegrounds. One viral thread declared, Sue Bird owes Caitlin Clark an apology. Without her, no one's even talking about the WNBA right now. Thousands agree, piling on with brutal takes about jealousy and gatekeeping. But right below it, another fan fired back. This league is bigger than Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like she's the savior. And just like that, replies stacked up into the tens of thousands. Some savage, some thoughtful, all proving one thing: people care. They care about the WNBA, they care about Clark, and they care about this fight. And here's the irony. The very drama Sue Bird tried to shut down has only made Clark's influence explode even more. Every time a legend questions her, fans rally harder. Every time analysts defend her, clips go viral. Every single debate only adds fuel to her spotlight. Instead of dimming her shine, the backlash has supercharged it. She isn't just a rookie anymore, she's a movement. And the more people try to drag her down, the higher she climbs. That's the zigzag twist nobody saw coming. The controversy wasn't supposed to elevate Caitlin Clark, but it did. She's not just playing basketball anymore. She's carrying the narrative, dominating headlines, and forcing the league into conversations it's been running from for years. And whether you love her or hate her, you can't escape her. She's everywhere. And that's exactly why the next chapter in this fight is about to get even crazier. Now, the WNBA stands at a crossroads, one that could define the league for decades. On one path, they embrace Caitlin Clark fully, market her as the face of the game, and ride the wave of attention she's brought. But on the other path, they resist. They push back, try to spread the spotlight evenly, and risk losing the very fans Clark brought through the door. Either choice carries danger. Either choice will shape the future. Because here's the truth. This isn't just about basketball. It's about survival. If the league leans too heavily on Clark, it looks dependent. dominant, as if no other star matters. But if it downplays her, it risks alienating millions of new viewers who only showed up because of her. It's a lose-lose scenario, and that's exactly why the tension feels so heavy. Legends like Sue Bird know the risks of relying on one player, but fans, analysts, and even casual observers keep pointing to the obvious. Without Clark, the numbers don't lie. Ratings drop, tickets lose value, and the buzz disappears. This is the WNBA's identity crisis in its rawest form. Does it dare to admit that one rookie has already become the lifeline of the league? Or does it cling to the idea that women's basketball can thrive without a single superstar pulling all the weight? History says one thing, reality says another, and until the league chooses which truth to accept, the drama will only get louder. Because whether you see Caitlin Clark as a savior, a marketing machine, or just another player, one fact is impossible to deny. Right now, she holds the future of the WNBA in her hands. And the longer the league wrestles with that, the more explosive this story will become. If you think this battle is new, think again. History is screaming the answer, and yet the WNBA seems afraid to listen. Every major sports league in the world was built on the backs of superstars. The NBA wasn't carried by balance and teamwork. It was carried by the spectacle of Michael Jordan. The league exploded because of his gravity. Then came Kobe, then LeBron. Each one pulled in fans who had never cared before. And the NFL? Same story. It wasn't built on quiet collective effort. It blew up because of larger-than-life names like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes. Superstars weren't the exception. They were the formula. And now the WNBA has its own version of that formula. Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation player who draws attention like a magnet. She has already done what the league has been trying to do for decades, bring in millions of casual viewers. The proof is right there. When she plays, ratings are astronomical. When she doesn't, arenas slash prices just to look full. Yet instead of embracing her the way the NBA embraced Jordan, too many inside the league are pulling back, almost terrified of what her rise means. Is it jealousy? Is it fear that her success overshadows the rest of the league? Or is it something deeper, an insecurity about whether the WNBA could survive without her? Whatever the reason, the result is the same. Division, drama, and endless debates. But here's the twist. The very attempt to downplay her only makes her bigger. The more they resist, the more fans push back. The more they question her, the more she becomes a symbol. A symbol of what women's basketball could be if the league is brave enough to let it happen. Because history has already shown us how this story ends. The only question left is whether the WNBA learns from it or repeats the same mistakes. If you want proof of how explosive this debate has become, just scroll through social media. The divide is everywhere. One viral post screamed, "Sue Bird owes Caitlin Clark an apology." Without her, nobody's even talking about the WNBA right now. Thousands agree, hammering home the idea that Clark isn't just a rookie, she's the heartbeat of the league. But right under it came the counterpunch. This league is bigger than Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like she's the savior. And just like that, the replies stacked into the thousands. Fans weren't just debating basketball anymore. They were debating the very soul of the WNBA. On one side, Clark supporters argue she's doing for women's basketball what Jordan once did for the NBA, making it mainstream, making it magnetic, making it matter. They say ignoring her impact isn't just foolish, it's suicidal for a league desperate for attention. On the other side, critics fear putting all the weight on one star undermines the decades of work and sacrifice that built the league before her. To them, Clark is a moment, not a movement. A spike in attention, not the foundation of the future. The clash has turned ugly. Words like jealous, gatekeeping, and out of touch are being hurled at legends like Sue Bird and Cheryl Swoops. Meanwhile, Clark's silence only fuels her aura. She doesn't need to clap back. Her game speaks louder than any tweet. Every time she steps on the court, she wins the narrative without saying a word. And fans notice. One comment summed up best. Caitlin Clark is doing more for women's basketball by existing than the WNBA has done in decades. Thousands of likes later, the message was clear. This isn't just about stats or wins. It's about power. And right now, Caitlin Clark has it. At the end of the day, this debate isn't really about Sue Bird or Stephen A. Smith or even ticket prices. It's about the future of the WNBA and whether the league is ready to face the truth staring it in the eye. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She isn't just a storyline. She's a generational star who, like Jordan or LeBron, has the power to drag an entire league into the spotlight. And right now, she's doing it whether the legends like it or not. The irony is painful. Every attempt to downplay her only elevates her. Every comment meant to put her in her place makes her bigger. Instead of dimming her shine, the criticism has turned her into a symbol of change, of disruption, of the future fans are demanding. And that's what makes this moment so dangerous for the league. Because if the WNBA embraces Clark, it risks looking dependent. But if it rejects her, it risks losing millions of new fans who came for her and stayed for the game. It's a balancing act with no easy answer, and every wrong step brings backlash. So where does it go from here? Does the WNBA do what every major sports league has always done? Embrace its superstar, market her to the world, and ride the wave she's created? Or does it cling to pride, refusing to admit that one rookie might already be the most important player in its history? That's the question hanging over every headline, every debate show, every Twitter thread. And until it's answered, the storm will only grow. Because the truth is simple. Caitlin Clark has already changed women's basketball. She's already rewritten what's possible. The only only question left is whether the WNBA is brave enough to let her.